Welcome to Black Muse Podcast, a conversation series celebrating the lineage, creativity, and ever-evolving expression of Black culture. Black Muse Podcast is produced by Chicago West Community Music Center, founded by Howard and Darlene Sandifer, where the mission is to empower Black youth and uplift community through music, mentorship, and the continued creation of Black music. Today, we're talking with vocalist, pianist, educator, and arts advocate, Theophilus Reed, whose career spans more than 5 decades of Chicago's cultural evolution. Like the mission of the Sandifers and this 10-week Reimagining Jazz series, his work embodies across excellence and the belief that every generation contributes to the living story of Black music. Welcome to Black Muse Podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. You know, you've said your first musical home was the Baptist Church Choir.
Absolutely.
And the drum and bugle corps of your youth. That's an intersection of faith and discipline and rhythm. Tell us a little bit about how those early experiences shape your sense of timing and harmony and the musical purpose.
Well, that's a very good question. Having grown up in the church, that automatically, I shouldn't say automatically, but it gave me a firm spiritual root to grow on. My mother's sister took myself and my cousins to church on Sundays, and we were part of the youth musical ensemble. And it was there that I learned that I may have had a voice. Relative to the drum and bugle, of course, knowing that the drum was our first instrument, kind of gave me a sense of rhythm, which it's been said most of us do have. Some of us don't really have it, but most of us have a rhythm about ourselves. And those of us that are lucky are able to integrate that rhythm with life itself. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, it definitely does. And when we think about those early experiences, and the church, the Sandifers often talk about Chicago West Community Music Center as a place where faith, family, and art intersect. So I know that you and Howard have a over 50-year experience. Do those things, the intersection of faith, family, and art, mirror your beginnings?
Absolutely. I think any of us that are actually grounded have those three things that we can relate to, that we adhere to, and that kind of make us who we are. Okay. Family first, of course. Faith you got to have, and faith without work is nothing. So here we go.
You were with a group called the Innovations.
You done your homework.
Let's go back now. How did that Motown sound in your time with the Innovations prepare you to bridge gospel, jazz, and R&B?
The Innovations group was a learning experience for me because all of the guys in the group were older guys and I was still a teenager. They were working what was known at the time as the Chitlin Circuit in Chicago.
Yeah.
Most of us emulated the Temptations and all of that was coming from Motown. But again, it gave me the sense of discipline because these guys knew what they were doing and I had to meet my mark, if you will, each time. So that was an experience. That was an experience for me that I won't forget. Again, your question, to meld these things together is I think just a part of the learning experience of life.
Yeah.
A day that goes by that something's not learned is a wasted day. So
thinking about learning as a young artist, you studied under Professor James Mack at Loop City College.
Briefly, I took a music class. Now you talk about discipline. There it is again, working with Mr. Mack.
Well, what did he teach you about professionalism and precision?
Well, he actually started me to read a little more music, to read. Back then, I was still pursuing brass. In high school, I played brass instruments, trombone and baritone horn. So again, his work ethic, um, just his talent in general, was like a beacon to not only myself, but to half of the Chicago musical community, at least half. So,
See, I go back to these things because you're here in this jazz series teaching young people. If you can't appreciate those days, it's hard to teach it to them because they need to understand just how much you went through to get where you are today.
well, we each have our own particular stories.
Yeah.
I went through a lot, but I don't think I went through any more than most people do go through. As a matter of fact, I think my life was kind of blessed.
Yes, for sure, because your resume reads like a map of Chicago's community arts landscape. I mean, you were with the ETA Creative Arts Foundation, right? Urban
Many years.
and Ravinia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What motivates you to keep returning to the classroom and the community?
A need for more people to understand that music is the universal language of the universal language, period. And currently, we need something that spans the political climate that we're in today. We need peace in the world. And music can be understood even if you may not speak the language of a particular region. It can make you happy. It can make you sad. It can heal. And now more than ever, we need the healing aspects of the music.
Yes, we absolutely do. Tell me how a program like Reimagining Jazz, this 10-week series, continue the work that you began, empowering Black youth to create their own sound.
It's a continuum. It's a continuum. It's a needed continuum. We need more of this. Absolutely more of this. I come into this conservatory that was so diligently put together by Howard and Darlene, and I see the fruition of self-education of our community. People from the community educating people in the community have a greater sense of the community.
When you sit down at the piano or step to the mic, how do you channel both history and immediacy?
I am only the medium. The channeling comes from above. In my humble opinion, I study the science of music, if you will. So I try to know what it is that I want to do, what it is I want to say with the music, then let go and let God. Not to be, I hate to use things cliches.
Oh, that's great.
But they're so true.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So as we wind down, the Sandifers founded Chicago West Community Music Center to keep cultural excellence alive on Chicago's West Side. You've worked with organizations that echo that very same mission. How have those collaborations shaped your own view of community arts?
I have to reiterate, it has shown me that people in the community learn much easier from people from the community.
That's powerful. That's powerful. What role do elders like yourself play? I mean, really, in sustaining that pipeline?
Just keeping an open mind. If someone wants to know, if they inquire, it's an obligation to give them the information if I have it.
If you have. Oh, you have it. And last question, this is the last question. How do you ensure that young artists understand the power of cultural memory? The idea that every note carries history.
In order to do that, they have to study our story. To know that every note carries our story, which is referred to as his story, but it's our story. We're the ones that have through the centuries, through the millennium, carried the spirit of the music. Paul Robeson had a quotation. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said in his latter years he would like to be a wise elder who, how did he put it, who revered the teachings of man and the teachings of his particular tribe. That's a paraphrase. Had I known, I would have brought the entire quotation with me. But Robeson is a prime example of Black excellence in more than one area and a Black dignity, which we also have to carry that with us on our journey.
Theophilus Reed,
Yes, dear.
thank you for joining the Wagner Root podcast.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's been a pleasure.
God bless.
And thank you for joining us. This has been Black Muse Podcast, produced by Chicago West Community Music Center, where Black music lives, grows, and leads us forward. My name is Doris Davenport, contributing correspondent.